is just fantastic.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be taking a look at one of these segments from the recent return video of Mamamax, simply titled The Trial of Mamamax brackets My Side. It has 1.4k upvotes to 1.6k downvotes and 38,000 views at time of recording in 3 days, which isn't too bad for a video released in 3 days. I'm very jealous of those views. It's 2 hours 29 minutes long though. I am no longer jealous. I'm going to assume most of this was done via OBS to save having to do too much preparation work. But then again, Mamamax does have a side to prove, right? Some skin in the game for an argument that many of us have already forgotten about. I'll link my videos in the pinned comment that I've done on this subject. The self-proclaimed nonce hunter that basically used people to make money over Patreon and then tried to guilt bigger YouTubers into helping them get their message out there, whilst simultaneously trying to over-dramatize very serious allegations against really disgusting people, and never finishing any of the projects to the point when some of the people called him out on it, he didn't listen. No, they were bullied into silence as well, which is great of course and totally makes him look good. Said literally no one. For the sake of this, we're going to go through one segment. If people do want me to do a live stream and go through parts of this, of course I can do that. Speed it up 1.5 times, which would be perfect, and perhaps address some of the comments he makes. Do let me know in the comments down below if that is something you would like, because I could certainly do that Thursday or Friday this week. The segment we're going to dive into concerns Muta. The reason why is because Muta led the charge calling out Mamamax. Many did. Muta in fact went on, I believe, to cover the very subject that Mamamax had been claiming to do for some time.
I understand why you feel this way, given all the videos you must have watched about me. But I hope hearing my side can show you that the truth is a little more complicated than what YouTubers might make it seem.
Okay, I did want to insert one smarmy remark. Talking down about other content creators and to your own audience is a quaint way of saying only I can be the authority of the truth, which is how you typically like to structure your videos, as if you are the authority on everything within it. Since you are now called a grifter who, while not monetizing their YouTube videos, allegedly, monetize the crap via Patreon out of SA, you come across as a remarkably disingenuous hypocrite. So I don't think you're the right person to push this kind of message. On to Muta.
What's with suing your supposed friend Mutahar for $1 million, telling the victim that he's rich and so seeking $1 million would help with the case?
I've basically realized that this person wants to effectively sue me for a large chunk of money, okay? An obscene amount of money. Why? Because to me, all this appears is all I ever was to this man was an extremely rich friend who had enough social media clout for him to piggyback his stupid case off of.
My stupid case? So yeah, I thought he was my friend too.
Don't try to hyperfixate on the wrong thing. Based on how you handled it, it became a stupid case because of how poorly you executed everything. Before that, it was something quite serious and should have been properly dealt with. But apparently, those pesky YouTubers, like to think themselves above the law.
Until I saw the things he was doing.
And immediately he initiated sex.
Okay. At the time,
Nick?
What?
I'm not going to defend the laughter. I'm really not. I'm not interested in that part. How people react to this kind of content is on them, and I'm not going to sit here and try and judge them for their what is perceived to be professionalism or lack thereof. I am more interested in the arguments you're going to present against Muta.
Just so everyone is clear on this, Mutahar digitally signed a non-disclosure agreement to protect the identities, testimonies, and evidence of the survivors, and was only allowed to release it with their consent. And then he breached that agreement multiple times.
Okay, I just got confirmation. Mutahar just DM'd me.
Especially when there's...
Mutahar just DM'd me saying that there's not even proof confirming that there's even evidence.
I have a query for those who might be more well-versed in law than myself. Is signing an NDA over Discord legal? Is that a legitimate non-disclosure agreement, or is that akin to two people shaking hands? Not legally binding, although in the case of a handshake, it should be. Is this legal? Additionally, when, in the context and the timeline, did that breach occur to Lyrics? When did that occur? Was it before or after you got absolutely railed for everything you'd done wrong? If it was after, I could almost argue fair game at that point, because you lost all the respect and you completely destroyed your own case. I'm not justifying a breach of NDA, just questioning whether or not this is even legal in the first place.
I thought he was about the NDA. If Mutahar actually did have to sign an NDA to see the information, he broke that NDA with me because he told me in my DMs that it's what the evidence is.
Keep in mind, Mutahar did not talk to any of the survivors when he was leaking this information, and he is the very reason why people were not taking the evidence seriously.
Exactly what is the supernatural here? Like, let's just try to understand that.
Did you hear any of the lore?
Just before they all start laughing again, because they do, and I don't want to take it all out of context, I should add that Muta proved that your evidence was non-existent, but you're still claiming the evidence carried weight and substance. This is a rather peculiar statement to make, don't you think? Because you still think you have the evidence that'll blow this case wide open, shower you in glory, right? I assume by glory you mean patrons and yellow tears.
But then, after he talks to the survivors, and they walk him through the evidence, now it is all of a sudden one of the most serious of cases.
Just to be clear here, when the evidence became more known from the survivors, because you sure as hell didn't provide us with anything, when things got leaked and you and your little friend got a bit scorched earth, no one was denying or going to take lightly the accusation of SA. Physical, mental, and obviously sexual. ABUSE. No chance. Nobody does that. When it comes to the subject of the law, LORE, people are going to mock the crap out of it because they find that fantasy nonsense to be quite irritating. Comical even. The guy thought he was a vampire, didn't he? The guy you were covering? I remember seeing him on thumbnails everywhere. He looked like a wannabe vampire prick. All he needed was some glitter skin and he would have fitted in twice shite. Once people delved into this and did your job for you, yeah, a different light was shone on the subject matter. But the light had to be shone after you'd poisoned the well.
I'll say with the evidence, like, appears at least, it feels like there's definitely, like, a bad, it's like the worst I can see is somebody taking advantage of people, like, emotionally, sexually, physically. Looking at this whole story and talking to people that were actually affected by it, I think that there was, like, really, there was illegal shit that happened, right? Look, there are real people that I believe have been hurt by this. And for that considering, I am giving my full support as much as I can. Speaking with more of the victims after this call myself, I feel very disgusted hearing any more about the situation and the things that have been alleged to go behind it, which is why I'm doing my due diligence to at least try and help these victims out, but privately, not a public spectacle like Max is doing.
Which was one of the big bones of contention many had with Max. Everything was a spectacle. It had to be presented as the gravest, darkest thing you could imagine. Some stories just need to be told as they are. They do not need ambient music. They don't need some Jigsaw Billy Puppet-esque vocal style to commentate and offer some perspectives. You don't need to ask massive YouTubers to help you promote your content, and if they don't, they're basically endorsing the very thing you're claiming to be the protector of, the innocent in the fight against the nonces and the other horrible offenders. The next clip you play, now I would like to highlight that I do believe you've taken some of these clips not just out of context but out of their timeline, and I think you did it on purpose to present certain perspectives of unprofessionalism on the part of Muta in your attempt to poison the well. A point I have made so many times of late because people really do like to try it.
I think I'm just going to take the day off today and get on the stream with you boys.
Yeah, I didn't want to burn you because I've asked you for so much already. But
no,
man.
It's good to work with you.
Oh man,
this whole thing has been so insane, bro. I'm so glad that call came out. Ever since she made that like post on her Discord, it's like this call will make him look bad. I'm like,
that's why I made it the thumbnail, dude. I just wanted that to be the first thing people see.
I literally like the moment I saw that, I was like, dude, I'll just fast track her it up and just release this thing myself.
Once more people came out, speaking out against you, victims who felt you had abandoned them or not done what you said you'd do, the internet, well, those within this space anyway, firmly supported Muta in this. In making any video that they could make, not necessarily against you, but finishing the mess you created. The toxic environment you'd allowed to grow under the guise of, but my victim help, yo.
So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, Mutahar was verifiably defaming me, the survivors, and this case with these public statements he made both before and after signing a non-disclosure agreement.
I'm going to state again for the sake of it, I'm not entirely sure if that Discord NDA was legally binding or not. It just looked like a weak tea gentleman's agreement. Also feels like a massive deflection from one not being able to accept the fact that somebody else handled the situation better than you did. I have no doubt in my mind some of those victims would not have been overly grateful for how this all went down. But that doesn't change your involvement in that, or your guilt at how poorly this all went down. I'm not going to make excuses for Muta breaching this supposed NDA, but you trying to lawsuit couldn't have been more American if you tried.
And I think the NDA stuff is really wild too. It's like, obviously, I think NDAs are like designed to, I feel like it's almost like a way to add some level of credence to this. Like there's some crazy case, like NDAs aren't enforceable in this situation. Like, I mean, I could leak out everything. What's going to happen? Are you going to sue me or something?
So what this means is that Mutahar Anas signed an NDA under false pretenses with the intention to release information without the consent of the survivors.
Do forgive here, but as we know, there was subtle information to leak anyway. We know this because you had nothing. You've been holding on to all of this for years and you'd accomplished nothing. All that investigation, all that effort, all that time, promo after promo after promo, and you did nothing. Muta is right, this NDA was completely unenforceable. Like the BBC trying to get the TV license off the Oikari. You can't enforce it. But that wasn't going to stop you. And again, this feels like a bigger point to you. I get it. But it's not a bigger point in the grand scheme of how much you fail.
But you're going publicly and saying that to everybody else when you haven't spoken to the others. I'm just trying to understand, why would you do that without talking to us?
Which can fall under breach of contract, defamation, negligence, and since this does pertain to a criminal investigation, it could also fall under tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, and contempt of court.
In the context of this and a Discord NDA, no, it bloody well doesn't. Have you used Chatgpt for legal advice or something again? Because I know you've been doing that. You've been at this nonce thing hunting for years, 5 years, right? You've not gotten a single person arrested. Not a single person cancelled by the standards of what cancellation is. At best, you've grifted over Patreon for money, and then tried to drag people down by clickbaiting them in titles, like Charlie. Remember that? You've guilted people into working with you. You shamed the victims, some of whom wanted to pull out, and you said no. And when people do speak out against you, you kind of say they don't count as a victim. I'm not saying Muta is completely innocent in any of this, by the way. I'm just going to point out that you have no leg to stand on. You are the least credible nonce hunter the internet has ever known. And trying to use actual legal terminology is hilarious.
I've actually been speaking with multiple legal professionals, who all seem to think we have a very solid case. And given what's happened with Karl Jobst recently, I'm pretty confident that we could sue Mutahar for a lot more than $1 million.
Well, rather than claim you're going to do it, or could do something, would do something, maybe you should do something, why don't you actually do it? I would argue the Billy Mitchell-Karl Jobst case is not alike, as that we now know refers to an individual unaliving and the blame being laid at Billy Mitchell's feet as opposed to the cheating. In your case, it's solely around your ineptitude and somebody else just deciding, screw this. This is getting put out there and they're going to get blasted and you are too. Because you're a failure. You say legal professionals, pull the trigger. Let us actually see you do something for a change. Because it'll be the first time, very first time in your rather pathetic YouTube career where you'd actually end up in a courtroom doing something for a change. And I'd love to see this because honestly, the farming rate, the harvest will be bountiful. And let's face it here, you kind of need the money.
Given the amount of damage he has caused.
If you make a serious up like that, I think not only is removing the video a big problem, but you really got to go onto your main channel and address these situations. If you make a fuck up, especially one where you inadvertently end up slandering somebody, you got to cover for that.
And that money could absolutely help the survivors and this case.
Oh, don't try me. The case is dead. Don't try anyone with the idea that this case has got something now. You've killed the case. Your ineptitude, your failing, your stupid promos, and going after anyone else but accepting responsibility for your ineptitude failed all the victims. You want to try and fob it off as that's compensation for them, when really it looks like you trying to pay them off for wasting their time. The only person that should be paying them would be the person who actually caused the harm. But since the case has been poisoned by the likes of you, it is unlikely to happen.
He has repeatedly claimed that he would provide financial and legal support for the survivors.
I am giving my full support as much as I can, whether that be emotionally, whether that be helping them liaison with actual law enforcement agents or lawyers, and providing whatever form of financial, benefit that I can, reasonably provide.
But that has yet to come to fruition, because from what the survivors have told me, Mutahar has not actually provided any financial, legal, or emotional support like he's been publicly claiming.
That is a very broad and very nebulous statement to make, because on the face of it, it implies all, doesn't it? You said survivors plural. Okay, arbiter of truth then, please tell me more and provide citation to verify this. If he only provides one person, then this is going to get very, very muddy very, very fast. Oh, and in this, Muta has actually on Twitter addressed this video because he won't make a video on it, pointing to a number of flaws in Max's arguments within this what has been dubbed a Sloppenheimer video. Quote, Max accused me of spreading baseless rumours regarding a former collaborator while providing no tangible document and simply required us to believe him at his word, which means nothing. I am not a perfect person, but in regards to the accusations Max spread about Jim, or JYM, I can't remember the pronunciation, I did after hearing actually reach out to Jim and discuss with him, and while I don't speak to him, Jim wasn't surprised when I confronted him as he had knowledge of these rumours long before I did. I myself only heard of them when Max and his friend Prox brought them up to me randomly as he came to visit me in Houston while I was vacationing. Skipping ahead, in regards to the case of the vampire cult, I've been accused of destroying the case, which is not true. I've spoken to any survivor that came my way, provided my advice, and even offered money unconditionally to help the people involved in this story. Nearly everyone but Max has seemed to move on. So what does Max say?
At least in the case of Camden Gerard Davis, there is proof. There is evidence of malfeasance. Just because Mutahar said it's nothing substantial doesn't mean it's nothing substantial.
So where's your proof? Oh my god, this is a 2.5 hour video and you've not put it right next to the part where you've made an accusation? A statement made, but no evidence immediately to support it? Dear God. And here I was thinking you were good at your job. Well, in another universe. Perhaps Universe C197.
He didn't even know what he was looking at. He didn't talk to any of the survivors when he made that comment.
I don't have that proximity to it, but I'm like, it looks more like an erotic roleplay server where like boundaries were really crossed.
An erotic roleplay server where boundaries were really crossed. What does that even mean?
Like, that's what I'm still putting it out as. Max is not like an idiot. Like, I think he's smart enough to know it, but he's like, fuck it, I'll just frame it as a cult.
Just so we're clear, the survivors came to me claiming it was a cult.
No one's disputing that part, believe it or not. We just believe this case is absolutely dead in the water because of you. Entirely because of you. Your ineptitude and your failings. You're also taking, again, clips of Muta out of context to present your argument as if this all goes within a timeline. And you've not proven an earlier point, which means everything you now prove feels a bit hollow, which is why I'm able to point at the fact that this is out of context, to make your point. I know there are many people who do believe Muta has some guilt in this. I'm not going to dispute that either, to be honest. But with what happened and how it happened, the guilt firmly lies at the feet of Max, failing to be what they claimed they were, and letting down every single victim in the process. You also haven't debunked anything so far, which is quite embarrassing.
And after my conversations with actual experts, I do think it is a cult.
You know, I'll make it look more spookier than I can, because his audience is like that true crime audience. And I'm going to say it, like, the true crime audience is like the most audience on YouTube. You could fucking feed them the biggest load of bullshit 9 times out of 10 they'll believe it.
He was actively undermining the awareness campaign. He was reaching out to historical detractors of the channel and going on live streams with them before talking to me or any of the survivors.
It's called collecting information, by the way. That's what it's called. On the face of it, with what was known before he had a chance to sit with you and, is it Spencer? Yes. The information was limited, and it was bottlenecked by you. You believing yourself the sole arbiter and rightful heir to this information. You then had a conversation with Muta in a live setting, and you did yourself no favours at all. It further proved your incompetence, your reliance on Chatgpt, and you were clearly not interested in helping the survivors as you liked to tout. If you were, this would not have dragged out for as long as it had before you were called out for being an incompetent F, and you are definitely that.
And talking shit about the case. Here's just one example out of many. Mutahar repeatedly attacked us on the live streams of people who hate me. Perhaps the most vocal among them is Tommy C.
Just before I play the clip you include, you owe Tommy C an apology. You know that, right? Like, you actually owe Tommy C an apology. Let's see if there's any introspection or capacity to understand that here. Or is it just going to be further cementing with a form of confirmation bias? Okay. Oh, and historical revisionism. There's a bit of that going on here as well.
I'm gonna be just straight up honest with you. I want this child exploiter pinned to a cross, and I think that you're gonna see a lot more Mamamax content from me.
The fact that this is the first person Mutahar chooses to speak with about this case should speak volumes about Mutahar's true intentions.
This is called poisoning the well. Tommy C has been very vocal against Mamamax for some time, and has been proven right, for the most part, about Mamamax. Because you are that, you've exploited people for content. You've sensationalized in this true crime realm, and honestly, it couldn't be more embarrassing. It really couldn't. And I know someone's going to be pedantic enough to say, but this isn't true crime. Don't try me, don't care. Alright? Where it is poisoning the well, when it concerns Muta, is that because Muta's gone to people within the commentary sphere, because most commentary channels in that area anyway, spoke to each other, this is somehow and therefore Muta's basically intentions are ill. Just ill. All the ill.
Go look into this guy Mamamax's bullshit story, Mutahar. I'm angry. I'm legitimately angry. And
well, I mean, I'm like I want you to tell me more. I like it's like the anger is good. It's just like, and you gotta.
I can't think straight.
I am learning.
I am learning from the angry man who just said he can't think straight. No, yeah, the anger is good. It's not like it clouds your judgment and obstructs critical thinking.
Let's ignore the fact he cherry-picked one little part there to frame a wider point, ignoring the fact that Moist Critical in the images you saw on the screen rejected outright doing anything to help Mamamax. Because of the guilt. You tried to guilt them with a rather weak-tea attempt at blackmailing them into helping you. And many others, I might add. It did not raise your profile in the way you wanted. And the reason Tommy couldn't think straight was because there was a lot going on at once. You want to frame it differently, maybe claim he's not competent, mentally competent, to be able to be that person, that authoritative figure. Let's not forget here, Muta did in fact have a conversation directly with you, and it couldn't have been more piss poor if you tried. You would have gotten more information, better told, more articulately put from one of those fake teeth worn by the very guy you were investigating.
I don't know how much of that 4-hour interview you've seen.
Nothing.
That podcast.
He just said he has seen nothing. So Mutahar was learning from an angry man who can't think straight, who constantly spreads disinformation on his targets, who made multiple streams about how I am a scammer, has seen nothing. What?
I'm going to be that guy because you didn't provide the timestamp for when that stream where he said nothing happened and when his comments with Muta happened. You see, you are trying to frame an argument in a rather lengthy video, but you're doing it so poorly, you are not articulating your arguments in the correct order. When more information came out, more streams happened. It wasn't a case that this was all premeditated. No, someone was calling BS on you for a while, and when things started to unfold, yes, Everyone made content. I made videos on this. I didn't do streams on it. I didn't have time for it. But this might well become a stream as well because there's a lot more to go through. The point still stands though, generally, if you're going to make your arguments, at least present everything as it should be presented. Otherwise this gets easily debunked. And criticize, rightly so. You trying to challenge the intelligence and the motivations of those that Muta speaks to is further proof of my point that you're just trying to poison the well rather than take accountability for your failings.
It's this whole situation.
Can you send in the video he made on me? Can you send Muta the video he made on me that one summer?
Please teach me your ways, washed up commentary channel number 46,853.
Tommy, that video was not about you. I gave you a 3-minute segment, and rest assured, Mutahar already watched it. This is the text he sent me after he watched it. I think you put our friend Tommy on suicide watch, bro. Wait, for real? Lol, I saw the first part. LMFAO. If he didn't already, he probably should. And now, all of a sudden, he is pretending to be best friends with Tommy C.
For the sake of time, I'm going to have to end the video here, and I'm going to end by pointing out here that they're not best friends. No, Tommy C is a very well-known, and within the space of commentary, respected commentary streamer. Muta was always going to go on to his show, and many others, perhaps a group show, which you showed something of earlier, to go through information and learn together. When they have a level of chemistry and camaraderie, jokes are made, and off-the-cuff comments come out as well, which is what you wanted to quote mine the crap out of things. Your argumentation is flawed because of your poorly thought out execution. All done to character assassinate and not to create anything substantive. And you say a 3-minute segment in a video. Yeah, because you were looking down on commentary channels with that really creepy voice. Of course Tommy's going to hold a grudge. You threw Tommy under the bus for no really valid reason. Now, as we have finished, I'd like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If you do want me to do this as a live stream, smash the like. If we get 1,000 likes, I'll make a live stream on Thursday, going through more of this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you all very much for listening.